If you want someone to miss you, the worst possible move is to never actually leave. And yet that's exactly what most of us do. We text back in 9 seconds, we fill every silence, we stay so constantly available, so easy to reach, that the other person never once gets to feel the shape of our absence. You cannot miss what never leaves. You cannot crave what is always endlessly right there. So here's the promise. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the real psychology of being missed, not tricks, not playing hard to get, not the manipulative garbage half the internet will sell you. Just 6 things that make you the person who lingers in someone's mind long after the conversation ends. And the 6th one is the thing almost nobody does, even though it's the one that matters most. Stay with me for that. Because if you're in that early stage right now, a few dates in, a situationship, something long distance, the part where you're staring at your phone wondering why they haven't texted back, this is the video I wish someone had handed you before you spiraled. Let's start by fixing what you think missing even is. Missing someone is not a compliment they pay you. It's not a decision. It's a feeling that shows up in the body, a small ache, a pull, a gap where something good used to be. Your brain got used to a certain hit of warmth and aliveness when that person was around, and now it's reaching for that hit and not finding it. That reaching is the missing, which tells you something crucial. For someone to feel the gap, 2 things have to be true. 1, there had to be something good there in the first place, real presence, real warmth, something worth the ache. And 2, there has to be a gap at all, space, absence, room for the reaching. Most people trying to make someone miss them get exactly one of those wrong. The anxious dater nails the presence, but never allows the gap. They're always there, so there's nothing to reach for. And the person who's read too many dating tricks creates tons of fake distance, but never built anything worth missing, cold, mysterious, and completely forgettable. You need both. Presence, then absence. That's the whole thing. Everything else today is just how you do it without losing your mind. So let's get into the 6. Number 1. And this is the foundation everything else sits on. You have to give them something worth missing in the first place. I know that sounds obvious. It isn't, because the anxious version of you does the opposite. When you like someone and you're scared of losing them, you get careful. You play it cool. You hold back the good stuff. You monitor every text. You shrink yourself down so you can't be rejected. And a shrunk down, careful, guarded version of you is not memorable. There's nothing there to ache for. The people who get missed are the ones who were fully there when they were there. Present, warm, actually laughing, actually curious, actually saying the real thing instead of the safe thing. When you're with them, be with them, phone down, guard down, all the way in. That's what leaves an imprint. And an imprint is the only thing absence can press against later. So before you ever worry about creating space, ask the harder question. When I'm with this person, am I giving them a version of me that's actually worth missing? Presence first, always. Number 2, give the missing somewhere to point. Here's a subtle thing about the mind. Anticipation and anxiety are almost the same feeling, a kind of forward-leaning energy about something that hasn't happened yet. The difference is whether there's a plan. When there's a next moment on the calendar, a date, a call, a visit, a see you Thursday, the gap in between becomes anticipation, sweet, warm, I can't wait energy. When there's no plan, no horizon, nothing to point at, that exact same gap curdles into anxiety. Where do I stand? Are they losing interest? Should I text again? This is why leaving a next thing loosely on the horizon is one of the kindest things you can do for both of you. It doesn't have to be rigid or heavy. I'd love to do this again next week is enough. It turns the space between into something to look forward to instead of something to survive. And notice this is the opposite of playing hard to get. You're not disappearing to make them nervous. You're giving them a reason to lean forward. Absence with a horizon is longing. Absence with no horizon is just abandonment. And nobody misses the person who made them feel abandoned. Number 3, and this is the one you're going to feel in your gut because it's the hardest. You have to let the gap actually exist. You have to leave. Remember the whole premise. Missing is reaching for something that isn't there. So every time you rush in to close the space, the instant reply, the double text, the third, hey, you up, the need to smooth over every silence, you are quietly robbing them of the chance to reach for you. You're flooding the gap before it can even form. There is no ache because there's no absence. You keep handing them the thing before they ever get to want it. Now hear me clearly, because this is where people go wrong. I am not telling you to ignore anyone. I'm not telling you to wait a strategic 45 minutes before replying or to leave them on red to build tension. That's a game, and games attract the wrong people and exhaust the right ones. The mystery and manipulation crowd has this exactly backwards. The gap I'm talking about isn't manufactured, it's real. It comes from the fact that you have a life, a full one, that you're not going to pause every time your phone lights up. You reply when you see it, warmly, and then you go back to your actual life. You're not withholding, you're just not waiting. There's a world of difference, and people feel which one it is instantly. That's the whole trick of leaving, if you can even call it a trick. Don't perform distance. Just stop compulsively closing it. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but the reason I close the gap is that when I don't, I get anxious out of my mind. Good. That's the honest problem, and it's exactly what the second half is about. Because the first three things were about them, what you give, the horizon, the space. The next three are about you, and specifically about becoming the kind of person the gap doesn't torture. Get these, and the space stops being something you white-knuckle through and starts being something you barely notice. That's number 6 territory. Let's build up to it. Number 4. You have to become your own source of your happiness and of your reassurance. This is the heart of it. In the book Attached, there's this idea of the anxious attachment system. When you're anxious, another person's attention becomes the thermostat for your entire nervous system. They text back, you're warm and calm. They go quiet, you're cold and spiraling. And when someone else holds that dial, two things happen. You suffer, obviously, but also, and this is the part nobody tells you, they can feel it. Neediness isn't a text you send. It's an energy that comes through everything, the sense that their job is to keep you okay. And here's the brutal truth. Nobody misses a job. Nobody aches for their own homework. When contact with you becomes the thing that keeps someone else regulated, your presence stops being a gift and starts being a demand. Demands don't get missed, they get dreaded. So the work, and it is work, is to take the dial back, to be the one who makes yourself happy, who reassures yourself, who can sit in the quiet of I don't know where this is going yet, without needing them to resolve it for you. Mark Manson calls this being non-needy. In models, not cold, not detached, just genuinely okay on your own. When you're your own source, the space between texts stops being an emergency, and a person who isn't in an emergency is a person who's actually pleasant to miss. Number 5 follows directly from that. Make every bit of contact you do have a bright spot, never a chore. Think about what your texts and calls actually feel like to receive right now, because when you're anxious, your contact slowly turns into an audit. Why did you take so long? Are you mad at me? You've been distant. Each one is a small bill for them to pay, and the moment your name on the screen starts to feel like a bill, a thing they have to manage, reassure, defend against, you have lost. People don't miss the thing that makes them brace. Flip it. Be the notification that makes them exhale. Be genuinely warm, genuinely interested, actually fun to talk to. Send the message that needs no reply. Saw this and thought of you, and nothing else. No hook, no test. Let your presence be the easiest, brightest part of their day. Because here's the mechanism. Your brain misses what felt good. It does not miss what felt like work. Make yourself the good feeling, and the missing takes care of itself. And you'll notice this only works because of number 4. You can only be a bright spot when you're not secretly using every interaction to get reassured. The inner work makes the outer warmth real instead of performed. Which brings us to number 6, the one almost nobody does, the one I promised you at the start. Build a life so full and so genuinely yours that being let into it feels like a privilege. Everything so far has been about presence and space. This is the thing that makes both of them effortless. When your life is rich, real friendships, things you're building, a Tuesday night that's exciting whether or not they text 3 things happen at once for free, you automatically have something worth missing because you're vivid and alive. You automatically leave a real gap because you're genuinely busy living, not performing busy. And you automatically stop being needy Because your whole sense of okay isn't riding on one person's attention. You stop trying to be missed and you just become missable. That's the shift. The person building a beautiful life isn't rationing texts or timing replies. They're out living, and they let the person they're dating catch glimpses of that world. And the other person feels it. There's a whole life over there, a good one, and I want in. That pull, the pull to be part of someone's vivid world, is what you've been calling missing this entire time. This is the deepest version of your own coach's line, and I'll say it plainly. You cannot be missed if you never leave, and the surest way to leave is to have somewhere real to go, not a fake exit to make them nervous, an actual life that's pulling you forward. Build that, and the missing isn't something you engineer, it's just gravity. So let's bring it home, because I know why you clicked. You're in the limbo, the situationship, the early days, the long-distance stretch, the why haven't they texted back spiral, and you wanted a lever to pull to make someone want you. Here's the honest answer. The lever isn't something you do to them. Every one of these 6 points backwards, at you. Give them a real you worth missing. Leave a horizon to lean toward. Let the gap exist instead of flooding it. Become your own source so the gap doesn't wreck you. Make your presence a bright spot, not a bill. And build a life so full that being missed stops being a strategy and becomes a side effect of you actually living. Do that, and you get the thing you actually wanted underneath all of it, which was never really to be missed. It was to feel secure, to stop refreshing the screen, to know your okayness is yours. The person who has that is magnetic precisely because they're not chasing the magnet. So stop trying to be missed. Go be worth missing. There's a difference, and it changes everything. If this reframed the way you've been thinking about it, subscribe. This whole channel is about attraction that comes from security instead of games. And next, watch the one on why chasing someone quietly kills the very attraction you're trying to build. It's the other half of this exact idea. I'll see you there.